Hey, in this video, let's talk about finding your internal core values and awakening them so you can achieve your greatest health goals and fitness goals and get back on track for achieving just any worthwhile goal in your life. This is Christian Bates with Longevity Power. When I talk to my customers and clients about why they may have not achieved their goals yet, most of the time, for most of them, it comes down to this number one core issue, which is, now I could say almost anything here, and I wouldn't be wrong. I could say, consistency. Most people are not very consistent. Or your diet is inadequate. Or maybe your diet's too dogmatic and you got to experiment and individualize it more. Or maybe I could say, you got to work so much harder on those last 2 reps of every set you do at the gym. And that might apply to some people. But even before that, before we get to the fine-tuning of our practices that will help us get to our goals faster, is something else. So when I was 15, I was one of the shortest and chubbiest boys in my class. I was 200 pounds, and the adolescent hormones in me were like, this isn't quite the expression we're going for. And so I started to dig around, and this is 2002, so the ability to Google things was very limited. The ability to cross-reference other people's experience. And there wasn't really much of a comment section or forums happening online, so I really had to just take the author's word for it for some of the books I got into. And somehow, in 6 months, I lost 50 excess pounds, reducing my calories, eating kind of a diet that today I would consider totally inadequate and irritating, but it did the job, and biking and running every day. And I became a 150-pound, 16-year-old who was happy, had my first girlfriend. It really changed everything. But before I did that, something else was going on. When I first started to, go through adolescence and become a young man, I had just such an interest in how vast and amazing and peculiar life as a human and reality is, and perception, and I always wanted to pierce that and get better at awakening my own self. And I had that value of life and being clear, and then as I was becoming a young man, being clear as a man and expressing my masculinity. But I hadn't made all the connections yet, but I had that core value. And after a few years, I finally made the connections between actually pursuing health and how being healthy in my body can help my mind and connect important feelings I had about my own life and self-worth. So that's what you get to do, is to find, if you haven't already, or tell me in the comment section below if you have, tell me what you're working on, finding your top values. So if you have a goal of, say, losing weight, becoming fitter, high performance, physically, mentally, whatever it is, you probably know that should happen, but maybe sometimes you feel like it's not worth it, so much effort. So there's some kind of lapse in your values that makes it seem too high willpower and not just something automatic that you do, where you're researching health and you're so inspired and it just becomes more free and part of you and energized. And so let's definitely find that. I mean, some people, it's about being the best partner and parent they can be. And that's going to inspire them to be healthier so they can show up better, more energized with their family, live longer. For some people, they really value their ability to focus. And maybe you need to connect just how important, if not almost the same it is, to take care of your body as to develop your mind. They go totally together. So I hope that this inspires you to take the next steps eventually, because you have found your own, very particular to you, doesn't matter really what they are, your own high values. Isn't that right, dog? Oh my gosh. I'll see you next time.